Wowzers. That was fucking incredible.
Good morning, everybody. I'm a little late getting started on this. I could not calm down last night. The thunderstorm here was so wild last night. I was awake till like 2:30. I was just, whoa, buzzing. I got so much footage I'll go through, and you can find on Joey on the Caribou Weather Dude. Make sure to hit like, share, subscribe. Welcome to the channel. This is the show. All right, let's go.
This is bad news. My God.
Falling out right now.
Anything could happen.
Wow.
I'll watch the video later.
Feel the heat. I need more nights. I need water.
Ain't dry mopping this.
So that thunderstorm came through last night, and man, it did some spectacular things. It was absolutely fantastic. Just a lightning show. At one point, there's 450 lightning strikes in just 20 minutes. So we do have a bunch of fires that seem to have kicked off in the region. And some of these, I mean, this is out in the middle of nowhere. You know, like these in here. I mean, it is sort of close-ish, but it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. This guy here, a little closer. Maybe that's the one that's at the dump. I don't know. There's one that's at the dump out there people are talking about. There's another fire that was near a guy named Mike's house. Anyways, looks like up by Yanks Peak, couple lightning strikes. And then if you go into the Bowen Park, look at that. There's some pretty good fire activity actually in the Bowen right there this morning. So that one seems to have taken off pretty good. So some real targets. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 different targets. So just from one fire alone, and that's just in that one area. If you go up above, somehow it seemed to go through the big mountains and not light much off, but right down by Highway 16 here, conceivably that is fire. That's a pretty good dot in the map. She lit some fires up last night. One storm seemed to have done quite a bit to everybody, and you know, as we know, the Northeast is just pounding right now. It's burning so much up there, but it's not the only place now. The whole north seems to be kicking off. Alberta, very active in Alberta right now. Of course, these are all most in the middle of nowhere. Some pretty close fires to Fort Layard, though, so those are ones to look out for. Not too far from there, up in the Hawney Reserve, some fire activity. Some fires seem to have blown up in the Yukon. We're looking at the end of the day, they're pretty quiet. So anyways, that's what's going on right now. So yesterday, the thunderstorm outlook potential, they really said nothing. I mean, almost nobody seemed to publicly predict what I did. And I predicted the strongest storm in Canada yesterday would happen into the Caribou region, and it did. It exactly did. So today we have a little more widespread threat to the south. We'll see what happens down there. I mean, these obviously, as you saw with H or what happened last night, these are kind of hard to predict. They just sort of like come up out of nowhere, explode out of nothing. You know, it kind of ended up where I expected it to go, but it didn't start the way I expected it. It sort of started likely and climbed its way north, and it did whatever it wanted. So fantastic. And I think there's some of that potential for that to happen actually in the same area today. In fact, I'm not sure if I agree with this or not again today. Because I know where convective available potential energy looks to be really high this evening, seems to be in this area of South Prince George. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that things will be severe there. Watson Lake, this looks like to be your best location for severe today. The large hail, Fort Nelson. So one of the things that has me thinking we're going to see some pretty strong thunderstorm activity as well right in the same place today is the fact that it did take a little bit of rain, not very much, but everything was just a little bit more wetter and greener this morning. Anyways, the real story, I mean, look up north. I mean, it is going to be exploding in thunderstorms today. We do have that little blip through Prince George, but our real story looks to be that northeast is just going to fire up today and fire up big. We could see some super severe thunderstorms near Meadow Lake, Saskatchewan as well today. Let's have a look at Prince George one more time. Around 2 o'clock, maybe some of these cells, but again, it took all day for one to show itself yesterday, and it's more or less to the exact same place today. And if you have a peek at, this was the exact reason yesterday I expected to see an explosive thunderstorm. But look, it's almost in the same place. Little less convective available potential energy. British Columbia, heat, Manitoba, heat. You get the idea. Yesterday was pretty extreme temperatures, man. Pretty extreme temperature. Abbotsford beat its record at 33.5. It made Blue River made it 37. It beat its old record by like almost 2 degrees. Cache Creek beat its old record by almost 2 degrees. Clearwater tied its record 38.2. Clinton 35.2. These are areas that generally get pretty hot, and they're still breaking their records, right? So these are sort of alarm bells. The Creston, Dawson Creek even got to 36.2. Are you kidding me? Fort Nelson 33.1. That's way up there. What? Fort St. John 33.4. Seashell, Gibson 30.6. Golden 36.4. Ha! Hope 33. Kamloops 40.6. The old record was 38.6 set in 2015. Kelowna 39. Lillooet. Lytton 42.5 sets beats its old record. A lot of places beat the record by 2 degrees. Mackenzie no different. Malahat 31. Merritt 38.4. Pemberton 39.8. Whoa, Pemberton. Penticton 38. Pitt Meadows 34. Port Alberni 36. You get the idea. Extremely hot. Extremely hot. Prince George even beat its old record. Princeton, most places by 2 degrees. Quesnel area, Revelstoke area. Quesnel got to 37.2 yesterday. Are you kidding me? So these are extremely hot temperatures yesterday, as you can tell. Now, here's the fun one. The following area set a daily minimum temperature record. What? Bella Coola got down to 6.8 last night. So we know we got multiple rounds of thunderstorms. We know that Wednesday again it's going to kick off. Going to be pretty fantastic, especially in the far north. The big concern everyone's really got now for extreme fire behaviors. Not only are we going to have some pretty hot temperatures today, 64 kilometer-hour winds. These is wind accumulation. So let's have a look at what our winds are doing today. The winds are going to start picking up. As you can see throughout the afternoon, going to see some strong gusts of wind through the north, south, some of that as well, right? So any fire that's taking some of this hot air and taking some of this wind is going to get up and go for runs. It's going to be somewhat explosive. So we see this wind event carrying on Tuesday or Thursday. It moves up into the northeast part of BC, and this is going to be fantastic for fire growth. We're going to see absolutely extreme things happening up there in Fort Nelson. So Thursday, mark on your calendar, extreme fire growth in the Peace region. For sure, almost. I mean, not quite as warm as it has been on Thursday, though. It'll be only a high of 18 up there. So we see the cold front is moving through. It is dropping temperatures just a little bit as it does. And maybe those temperatures drop. Still will stay pretty hot in southern BC. That's the thing, right? This is just, I said, just a slight cool down. Well, maybe getting a 26 on Thursday, right? Before, more or less we start seeing that heat rebuild into the weekend. And we get to have maybe not quite as hot as it has been. That could be the benefit. But I mean, things seem to be changing fairly frequently a lot. And we know we're going to have lots to get through here before we're really out of the situation. And that's especially if Friday does this. And this is what we really got to look forward to now. And circle on the calendar. Friday is going to be a key day. Thursday, things are going to be pretty extreme. There's going to be some extreme thunderstorm activity in Western Canada. Maybe we get a little bit lucky here in BC. Friday is what I'm really looking at on the map. This is concerning. Spence's Bridge, Lillooet, Gold Bridge, Lytton. These are all places that could possibly see some of these thunderstorms. Whistler, Friday by 4 o'clock. Looking at that coming into Clinton. Maybe as it moves through Barrier, Cache Creek, maybe in the Kamloops area. Again, these are going to be really hard to predict, everybody. You saw what happened last night. You saw how these storms kind of self-generated out of nowhere. And it's like, you could have two little blips and one decides to go and it becomes the guy, and it doesn't matter that the conditions were better for the other blip. It just, if one seemed to, you know what I'm saying? So something to really look for on Friday. We got to really watch for more lightning strikes, more lightning fire. We're really in the midst of a wildfire outbreak, friends. I mean, I hate to just be honest about it. And this is just getting us through the weekend. There's just too much to talk about in order for me to give you any kind of like a long range sort of look. I mean, all I can kind of say to you is super hot. Look for the wind. Look for the thunderstorms. I mean, now I'm not making this shit up. We know that right now fires are going to take off and they're going to move. And the fact that we had nighttime thunderstorms that seem to have still lit quite a few fires in the Caribou, that really shows us that the conditions are there, man. Now, that was nighttime. It wasn't like the sun was on it and decided to get up and go. And so those fires are all going to grow today. And then, we're still looking at coming into some very extreme indices later in the month. So we're a long ways from out. We're into it. We're into it proper. And that's why you see, fire danger is very high everywhere in Western Canada. There's like a weird blob of somewhere that's taking a lot of rain, I guess, or going to, Alberta. But other than that, BC drying out fast. more or less what we've been seeing lately. I feel like I've made a ton of these videos this past week telling you a lot of the same stuff. So it's like I don't want to go into much detail today because it's just it's the same. It's the same. You look at the next 3 days, I mean, they might take some rain up into the north from some of these thunderstorms that pop off today and whatnot up there. So that's something to look forward to, that maybe they will actually see a little bit of improvement. But you look at the next 3 days in BC, I mean, we were expecting more thunderstorms, but wait, we're not expecting more rain. So it's the same. It's the same thing all over again. It's not the same thing all over again. It's the same pattern continued. So I know that's a lot less than I usually say. It's a lot simpler, but this is where we're at right now, things. So hopefully that gives you kind of a better idea. And I'm going to try to get some video put up together of last night's tremendously fantastic thunderstorm in Wells. It was really something. And if you laughed at my forecast this week, screw you. I was right. Nobody called that. Nobody called that. Supercell thunderstorm. That was like absolutely explodingly powerful thunderstorm. And it gives you a really good idea of how fast, within 1 hour, there could be absolutely nothing on the horizon. And then that little nothing turns into a monster supercell thunderstorm that lights up all kinds of fires. So that's what we're in for, everybody. Keep your eyes out there. Keep safe. Keep strong. Hit like, share, subscribe. Thanks for joining Interior Weather and Wilderness Watchers. Thanks for your support. I could always use more support. I could always use gas money. I could always use a new camera. I could always use dental work. I could always use a meteorology degree. I'd love to go back to university in Prince George. No, I certainly could use it to feed my kids because I haven't had any fire calls in 2 months. Maybe that'll change today. So, okay. I guess that's all for me today. Bye for now.